Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your weather update here on your September 24th, 2025. Well, we're getting a little more cloud cover out there for this afternoon across portions of North Georgia. That's helping to inhibit the temperatures a little bit because it is definitely a warm day out there. It is a muggy afternoon, but definitely going to allow the temperatures not get quite as hot as anticipated. And that's a good thing. I am not complaining about that. But we are going to be tracking some rain that's going to be coming in, especially going into tonight and to tomorrow. And a few of those could be on the hefty side. So we do have a marginal risk for severe weather, thus the yellow behind me there. We'll keep a watchful eye on the potential for some isolated severe going into tonight and going into tomorrow. We'll show you those on the model data here in just a second. Now, before we get going, if you're watching here, we're here on Facebook, and if you haven't decided to give us a follow just yet, please do so at this time. Hit that like and follow button here, and that way you become a follower on this page. And if you're watching over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look right now into Dahlonega. Got a lot of clouds out there in Dahlonega, and there are some light showers in the area. Not a whole lot that bad out there, but definitely keep the temperatures down a little bit, as well as down toward Lake Lanier. A little filtered sunshine, but not looking bad. There's somebody out there on the boat, but don't be out in the boat if a thunderstorm comes up, folks. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be out there for that. That's for sure. All right, let's go and take a look at your severe weather breakdown here, okay? Let's take a look at this. This is for your day one, and this is anticipated going into tonight. I'm going to show you the model data. You see what I'm talking about here. Got this marginal risk here for day one, and then for day two for tomorrow, just about everybody else across North Georgia as we anticipate a frontal system that's going to be moving across the area. And some of those could produce some very gusty winds, heavy rains, lightning, and maybe some small hail as this comes on through. And then on top of that, we have to do with some excessive rainfall with this as well. Let's go back to day one. Again, the heaviest rains will be up here across northwest Georgia. You see the marginal risk for heavy rains here across everybody else here going in for tonight and into tomorrow morning. And then just kind of a little more isolated here across North Georgia down to the metro area here going into tomorrow. So 1 to 2 inches looks like about right. And there might be some localized pockets that might be a little bit higher. That's what we'll be tracking here going in for tomorrow. Let's go look at your local radar right now. Again, we're getting a little bit of shower activity out there, not amounting to a whole lot. You see some of those scattered showers out there and some storms back over toward Alabama. But really, it's the main action back off to the west. That's got my attention here for today. Look at all the thunderstorms out here. We got a little upper level disturbance here that's going to be riding up this way. And that's what's going to be setting up that active severe weather potential there across Alabama and Georgia as we go into tonight and into tomorrow. So you've seen all those thunderstorms there starting to light up with the daytime heating. So looking at your regional map here, again, you can see the hefty weather out there as this is moving on to Arkansas. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning there across southern Arkansas. Some heavy rains, got some flooding in there as well. But again, this whole system is chugging in our direction. And then the other fly in the ointment with this whole system even clearing out is what's going on out in the tropics. And it's going to have a say on our forecast. I'm okay, I think, for the next 3 to 4 days as far as the forecast is concerned, but question marks for 5, 6, and 7. I will show you that here in a second here. As we've got these areas of disturbed weather, we are anticipating this one most likely will become Umberto and most likely will become a pretty decent hurricane. Imelda here, if this one forms over here, question marks on its strength and how close it'll get to the coast. But ultimately, either one of these two systems, we got to clear this stuff out before we decide what happens on the backside of this. Typically, when you get tropical systems up the East Coast, you get a trough in its wake, and we should see cooler temperatures next week. Even a potential wedge maybe setting up there going to Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. But again, it's still a long ways off, so we got to wait for this stuff to form out in the tropics first before we get an idea of what next week's going to have for our weather-wise. So do anticipate some changes in that forecast. Okay, so here's this system. This one's looking pretty healthy. This may get designated depression possibly by the 5 o'clock advisory from the Hurricane Center. This one still looks like a bit disorganized. It's going to take a little while. And, of course, here's Gabrielle racing across. Going to hit the Azores. You know, they haven't had a hurricane there in the Azores since 2016. It's been a hot minute for those guys. And they may get hit with Category 1, Category 2 winds there here pretty soon. All right, let's go take a look over at our model data here. Let's go take a look at that here as we switch over to the regional model. Again, we're going to watch a squall line come through. We have afternoon thunderstorms that will flare up again for tomorrow and then kind of clear on out. I'm going to go ahead and slow this down for you here. Watch that timestamp up there on the top of your screen, okay? So we've got these scattered storms here for this evening across central Georgia. We're going to wait for that main energy. You see some storms there across northern Alabama, Georgia there for this evening. And then you got this squall line coming in here early morning hours. So that could set off some isolated pockets of severe as this comes on through. and then it'll settle down overnight. Then we'll get the daytime heating, and there's the eruption of some more storms there coming out of Alabama and into Georgia, going into northeast Georgia, going to the afternoon hours. So it looks like the northwest zones first, and then then down toward Metro Atlanta, the northeast zones going into tomorrow evening and into the night. And then we'll see things kind of linger. And the rain chance looks like it's going to linger into Friday and Saturday, unfortunately. Sunday's looking better the 2 days right now. But again, the complicating factor is what's going to be going off the East Coast here with the forecast. All right, so let's go and take a look at your forecast maps here. Again, watch this as I take you through this over the next 7 days. Watch that little timestamp there. So we kind of highlight these maps as we go through Thursday. Again, now the high rain chance coming in. You see that dark green there. So again, this is the frontal system. It's not going to be in a big hurry. It's got to wait for this stuff to kick on out in the tropics before this thing kicks on out. Notice that Thursday, where that front is, and there's Thursday afternoon, there's Friday, not really moving all that much, moving very, very slowly. There's Friday, just finally getting through on Friday, and then the rain chances just kind of lingering there going into Saturday, and just kind of sitting there across parts of North Georgia. Maybe northwest Georgia clears this out a little bit. Sunday, still seeing that residual moisture there, so I'm not clearing this out completely. We're going to wait for what this might be Imelda here, kind of clicking on out, and then, of course, Umberto's a little bit off the screen there, going into Monday and into Tuesday. And then there's Tuesday and then Wednesday. And then you see where that high is up here. We get this high. We sometimes get this wedging that can take place in here coming into Wednesday of next week. So again, there are going to be question marks on next week's forecast. Just plan on it. But one thing's for certain, we're not going to have that intense heat. I think that 90-plus degree temperatures, I think we might be done with for the season with that, because it's going to get, as the days get shorter as we go through October, it's going to get harder and harder to kind of hold on to that kind of heat. So here's our forecast for tomorrow. Keep the umbrella handy. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms again. Couldn't rule out some severe weather potential for the early morning hours for the northwest zones, and then the day for heading from Metro Atlanta to northeast Georgia for tomorrow afternoon based off the model guidance there. Here's your overnight low temperatures. These are well above normal. Normal lows around 60, 61. We're going to be in the upper 60s to around 70 for many locations. Definitely a muggy night with some scattered storm threats there. And then tomorrow, thunderstorms likely, heavy rains. Again, a few isolated severe possibility, but at least the temperatures are close to where they're supposed to be for this time of year. Normal high, around 80, 81. So a little bit more reasonable there than what we've seen here in recent days. Regional forecast looking like this: 82 in Nashville, 85 in Jackson, 86 down in Destin. I've got to change the icon there. Some scattered storms in Destin too. 93 down in Jacksonville, 93 over into Columbia. Next 7 days looking like this again. All right, I'm okay for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I think we'll have some lingering rain chances in here. Temperatures, daytime highs pretty reasonable there. But question marks for next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Question marks if we get any more rain chances, or might change slightly there. And then Wednesday, depending on how that system clears on out, maybe it's a little bit cooler if we get a little wedge in here on Wednesday. That might go into Thursday. So again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have some question marks on that. Expect that forecast to change, and as we fine-tune it here going into next week. Now, with the yellow up there for right now, if we have any kind of severe weather here for tomorrow, now that we got live capability on here for a while, even if it's just for a short stint, I haven't done it in a little while. I may do some severe weather coverage if it warrants, if we do get a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here for tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. If I'm doing a live, I'm covering some sort of severe weather here for today. So anyway, things moving along here for the channel. We did crack 20,000 yesterday. Now we're just going to make that track up to 30,000. And a big thank you to everybody. Today is my birthday. I want to thank everybody for my birthday wishes. I was telling everybody, hey, the biggest wish you can give me is make sure that you are a follower on this page, because I'm trying to build a big audience. And again, this is to attract advertisers. You got to establish your brand and name recognition in a market to perhaps get the big sponsors that we hope to get, the professional level equipment, again, professional set, all those things I like to try to do, and maybe even eventually establish a 24-hour weather channel. That's the ultimately, maybe even a weather camera network. I got delusions of grandeur, but we're going to try to do this. And if we can't, that's okay. I'm all right doing it the way we're doing it right now. So this is good, but we can do a little bit better. All right, that's y'all's update for today. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.